Hi, it is Wednesday. It's a little after 3, and I am on the other side of that door that everybody loves so much. It is one of my favorite moments in the winter, and let me show you why. That's what I see when I look out my front door, and that is just amazing, and it brings more life to my day every single time I do it. So, what made me stand outside today? I have one finger ready to push the button and one hand in a glove. I got my favorite coat on. I'm standing bundled up for the snow, and I'm just happy. So yesterday's Facebook Live really got me when I got to the place when I said it's not about doing, it's about being. I just kind of went, wow, like how weird is that? Like in the world we live in, with all the things we're supposed to be doing, how weird is just being? I know. That's kind of what makes me a renegade. So, in thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, I realized that there is somebody in my world who is bringing more life to me every time I talk to her. In fact, since I first met her, probably 7, maybe even 10 years ago. Her name is Monica Slayton, and she is you often see her name on, the comments because she's been watching this and connecting with me. She has started something on Facebook that I really want you to know about. It's called Stepping Out of Our Comfort Zones. Now, what's so cool about what she's doing is that it is so like just in your hand. It is so easy and so accessible that it just makes me want to share it. So I'm telling everybody that I know about this. Monica put the invitation out last Thursday, a week ago. In 3 days, 396 people, or 326, or 300 and something six, over 300 people were like, absolutely, Monica, because that's the kind of impact she has in the world. That's the kind of life she's bringing to all of us who know her, all of us who are in her presence. So I wanted to give her a shout out today because I have just been having so much fun engaging with everybody that I'm meeting on her site. And it seems like it's one of those places I have not known how to get here yet. And here she was opening the door and saying, come on in. So that's like bringing more life because you can. So, one of the things that she's doing over the weekend is on Saturday at 3 o'clock. And my sister Eileen, big shout out for my other technical guru, reminded me that I could put that link in the comments section so you don't have to worry about what that is right now. But I'm inviting all of you to connect with stepping out of your comfort zones because it's an engaging conversation that I want everybody to have. And none of us get here by ourselves. We all get here with each other, and you just never know what kind of conversations you'll be able to have. I'm certainly having conversations that are blowing me away. Women I have never met before reaching out to me and saying, let's have a virtual coffee or let's talk about this topic. And, as I'm learning my way around this online universe, um, it feels like this is a space that's so much like what I'm used to. And that is, you show up someplace and you meet people and it's exciting and you have conversations you never know you would have. And it brings more life to both of you. So, my shout out today is in a thank you to Miss Monica, who I love with all my heart. And I know you're watching this, Miss. um, she's one of those people that, people tell me that when they meet me, I had them at hello. Monica had me at hello. I met her. It was instantly, who are you and what conversations can we have? Now, my favorite part is that she had the same response to me, so that worked out. And um, energy and heart and love, just an amazing human being. So that's the first part of bringing more life to the conversation that I really want to invite you to. The second piece of bringing more life to the conversation is I realized that, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was listening. And listening is one of those things that is either easy or hard for you, depending on what's going on. But what I realized is that when we listen to ourselves, it makes it so much easier to listen to other people. And listening to ourselves is one of those things that takes time. And so, the hacks that we have for washing dishes or making the bed or going in the bathroom and closing the door, those are the hacks to get us to listen to ourselves. The interesting thing that I'm finding as I go through these days is that The more we listen to ourselves, the more time we know we need to spend listening to ourselves. And that's what's been happening to me over the last several days. Um, I'm also in a class with Sonia DeMalo, another brilliant woman who's created something. It's about creating your living legacy. And of course, I'm all about living legacy because I'm hoping that I'm living it. And I have learned some amazing things from her as well. And so, one of the things I find is that when you go places where you wouldn't go before and talk to people that you wouldn't talk to before and learn new things, you listen to yourself. It's just kind of like what we said yesterday. When you're listening for, could this be something that would bring more life to me? You see things around you in a different way. When you say to yourself, what do I need to be listening to for myself? It's a weird question that people just don't ask. And I get it. I get it. I ask these questions all the time because, I'm a little different. And it blows my mind sometimes when I ask myself these questions that I discover out in the world, and I take the time to spend time with myself. And I realize that, okay, full disclosure, what I really want to do today is just look at this snow. Like, who would not want to just look at this snow? Join me. Because there's something about snow that's just peaceful. It's not striving, it's not worried, it's just peaceful. It's kind of like being by the ocean as well. But there's something about these trees and this snow. There's that breath that just makes me happy. Now, in the midst of COVID and the pandemic and all the things that are happening in the news, it might feel like I just want to be happy. I just want to have this moment to myself and smile. Might just seem like the worst thing you could do. And I believe that because of those things, more of us need to be catching our collective breath and simply listening to ourselves and not listening to what's out there. Because when we're all listening to what's out there, I think most of us can get really, really afraid. When I listen to the news, sometimes my heart just sinks. And I think, how can I make a difference? How can I make a difference in this world? And then I take a moment and I think, you know what? Maybe in this moment, I can make a difference standing in front of my blue door. Monica! Whoop, whoop! I can stand in front of my blue door. Look at that door. That just makes me so happy. Sometimes I just come out here in the cold, in the rain, or whatever, and just look at this door. Now that is crazy. I know it, and it's true. I come out here and I look at the snow. So what? Love you too, darling. What are the things that you can slow down for? I mean, we're all always speeding up, speeding up, speeding up because there's so many things and there's not enough time in the day to handle all the things we want to do with all the places that are available to us. And so I promised you that, these 27 days counting to 31 days would just be about what's happening in my world right now because we are so much more alike each other than not. And I'm just normal. Okay, I'm not really normal. Forgive me, that was not true. I am not normal. And you know what? I am more normal than not. I am more like you than not. If you are watching this, you are more like me than not. Um, and so if it's happening to me, it's possible that it can happen to you as well. So there's something about today in my world, looking at this beautiful snow that looks like diamonds in my front yard, looking at the snow shining on the car in the driveway and the just the sparkle of this day. It's like no matter what's happening away from me, what's happening in the world, what all things are happening, right here, what's happening now is peace and grace and light in life. And it nourishes me for the moments when I have to deal with something different. So I know my nose is going to start running pretty soon. There's lots of things still left to say. There's lots of things left for us to do. And one of the things I realized is that as the days get closer to when I, you know, When I think about where will we go from here, like from January 1st to January 31st, okay, that's something. And then what? What's next? Honestly, I don't know what's next. And I realized, and I learned this from Monica just recently. So we always do Friday at 1 o'clock. This time, because it's going to be our last, scheduled until I figure out what we're going to do. On Sunday, we're going to do Sunday at 3 o'clock. So Sunday at 3 o'clock, and I'll post this. Now, Saturday at 3 o'clock, I hope you will be with Monica and all of us who are watching the excitement that she's going to show us. And on Sunday at 3 o'clock, I hope you'll be with me. Because on Sunday at 3 o'clock, we'll sort of wrap up the pieces because Monday's the 31st. And that's our last piece. I'm just trying to stretch this a little longer and not do it on Friday. Do it on Sunday because perhaps you'll join me live instead of just watching the replay. So those are the pieces I have for you today. There's so many things I'm thinking about listening and how that works. And, ADHD, hunter brain takes over and 14 things hit my face at once. And the words just don't all come out. So today is a peaceful day for me. There's lots of things going on in my world. And it's just a peaceful day for me. So if I can model just a peaceful day, oh my gosh, did you just see that hit? That just hit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, all right, I'm going to tell you because it just hit me and you saw it. So I have had a conversation, 3 different conversations over the last 3 days where a woman has said to me, 3 different women, 3 different times, they don't know each other. I just happen to be having conversations with them. And all 3 of them, Eileen, yeah, you're used to seeing it, aren't you? 3 different women said to me they were really struggling with imposter syndrome. And I thought to myself, you know what? 3 times, that's kind of magical, right? When you see it once, you're like, oh, it's just me. When you see it twice, you're thinking, oh, there's a second sighting. When you see it 3 times in 3 days, that's something. And I was thinking earlier this morning before I got out here and got all peaceful, is that there's something useful about mentioning the fact that imposter syndrome is a lie that we tell ourselves. Now, we're socialized to tell ourselves this lie. And the connection that I made with myself this morning was when I think about imposter syndrome, because I know that I have probably had it in my earlier career, and I know that the women who are having it are actually pushing past the boundaries that they think are true for them. So every one of them is up to something big in the world. Every one of them is doing things they've never done before. And every one of them is bumping up against, could I really, what will people say? I'm not allowed to. All those beliefs and things that we bought a long time ago when we didn't know any better. So because imposter syndrome is one of those things I love to talk about, and maybe I'll do a Facebook Live just on imposter syndrome. You never know. I am learning from Monica to pick a topic. Anyway, the point is for today and for the bringing more life to our conversation, for imposter syndrome, I thought maybe if we could unpack it, because, I love to unpack things. So I thought, what if we unpack it and just use our, safe and what if we unpack it here? Maybe that might be of use to somebody. So, number one, the first thing is all of us have like a thermostat. Um, when you set your thermostat in your house for 70 degrees, well, if it's cooler than 70 degrees, then the thermostat will turn off. If it's hotter than 70 degrees, the thermostat will turn on, especially if it's air conditioning. Okay, so it's got a set that at this point something happens. So imposter syndrome is kind of like that. Like it doesn't do anything for a while until you try and break free of what you think you could do or you should do or you've been socialized to do. I love to use the academic term, which makes me laugh my butt off. Um, Gender norms, like who you get to be if you're a woman or who you get to be if you're a man. So there are those of us in the world, I count myself proudly as one of them, who are breaking those norms all the time. And when you break a norm, that's when the set point goes off. So when you're doing something past what you think you're supposed to or what other people will let you, and that's just, our brains are wired for our survival. And so they'll go, no, you don't want to do that. And so it takes a lot of energy to burst past that. It's one of the reasons I love Monica's conversation about stepping out of our comfort zones, because our comfort zones is that thermostat. And it's not comfortable when we try and do something that we've never done before. And so, where imposter syndrome connects to here is that A, you've been programmed that you can't go past. And when you go past, imposter syndrome shows up to move you back to the aisle you're supposed to be in. That doesn't get you very far, and it doesn't bring more life to you or to the world. And how it works is this: the set point goes off, and all of a sudden you're not safe now. You're not safe to have that conversation or take that action. And right here, you know what happens. If you can't get past here, when you don't feel safe, game over. You have no access to what you could do differently or how things could work better for you. You have no access to your frontal cortex. So the way it works is to let you feel not safe. Now, safety is either physical safety, like you're about to fall or be harmed or drop off a cliff. That's not in your head, that's in your body, and it feels completely different. Safety in your head is a different feeling in your body, and it's a construct that you can choose to ignore or accept. So when you say, you know what are they going to do to me? Who's going to get me? Where am I going to fall? And you test the am I safe? Most of the time you will find that, yeah, you are safe. Yeah, you are safe. And once you are safe, you can relax into this is new. Once you get past here, you got to go to here. Now, is this a good or bad thing I want to bring to the world? Odds are high if you're trying to do something that you've never done before, you have a feeling in your body somewhere that you're bringing more life to something or someone. And this is going to be a good thing for the world, even though it's not comfortable. You're stepping out of your comfort zone, which is your little thermostat. And so stepping out and feeling uncomfortable is not a bad thing. You're safe. And you know what? This is going to be good for you in the long run. And odds are high it's going to be good for the world because somebody else will be inspired by what you do. And finally, once you get that you're safe and once you get that this is a good thing, that will bring you to your frontal cortex that can say, you know what? That's an opinion and you don't have to keep it. So where do you want to go now? So the thing I love about the idea of imposter syndrome is that it's a construct. It's something that was created outside of us, and we can choose it or not. So I'm going to invite you to consider the fact that if you are doing something that's way outside your comfort zone, that you are on the right path. And if you're really uncomfortable right now, you are on the right path. So that's what I say to myself every day when I think to myself, you're doing this whole being thing, Maya, and you're just sitting quietly and waiting for inspiration, for the feeling in your body that you are on the right track, and then you're just taking the steps to move forward even when you don't know what you're doing, even though you've never been here in this online world before, even though you're just trusting that you are guided and protected and loved, and that your life means something. And I can't prove it. I can't prove it, and neither can you. So I'm going to invite you to consider that one, all of us are here having this conversation for a reason, and it serves us, and it brings more life to all of us. Number two, it's not typically comfortable, and that's okay. And number three, if you feel like this imposter syndrome shows up in your world, and imposter syndrome shows up when you think, I'm not worthy. And you remember that was January 14th, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy is a lie that you do not have to believe. So, this was an exciting, I guess the snow is inspiring me to have that conversation I had with myself earlier this morning. So, my fingers are freezing. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for helping me to appreciate this beautiful blue door that my beloved Chuck Beatty painted for me this fall. So on this side, the outside is blue. On the other side, you know that green. That's apparently the color of my eyes. Anyway, thank you for joining me at my home. Thank you for giving these thoughts a moment of your time. And thank you for choosing to bring more life to your 2022 by joining me. I'm Maya Beatty, and I'll see you next time.